The budget has to be understood in the right context. The budget is announced over television in the background of July uprising and the dismal state of affairs of the economy left by the deposed regime. We were at this state which is worse. This has created macroeconomic instability. The current government has to address at least three burning questions. The first one, how would the government reduce the debt burden? Because the deposed regime has left us in a situation where when they took power in 2009 and when they left power, the debt in terms of foreign debt has increased by 322%. Similarly, the domestic debt burden had also increased, and that left the government to service the debt almost 50% of the revenue budget. This is a precarious situation. Secondly, there had been a prolonged inflation that has disproportionately affected the people with low income, and that also had a serious impact on the poverty situation of Bangladesh. Estimates suggest that there would be more people who would be poor. According to World Bank, that there is a possibility of 300,000 people sliding down into poverty because of the not having post-COVID recovery as well as increased prolonged inflationary pressure. Thirdly, and unfortunately, the previous regime has borrowed but was not successful, rather was indifferent, in some cases collaborated not to increase the tax GDP ratio. So, three of these has not only affected the state finance, it has a serious impact on the businesses and ordinary people, and thus most of the people, particularly low income, low middle income, salaried income people are finding it difficult to manage their day-to-day livelihoods. Simultaneously, given the high debt servicing requirement, the government is also facing a cash crunch, and the government has to resort to borrowing, both in terms of foreign borrowing as well as borrowing from the banking sectors. Thirdly, the business, as we see, given the nature of the government, there has not been increase neither in private sector, domestic sector investment nor foreign direct investment. So, which means that economy has to contract, and that we have been witnessing, as the Bangladesh Bureau of Statistics suggests that we would have a contraction in our growth of gross domestic product or GDP. and it is assumed that it would be 3.9%. So, given this situation and given the high unemployment, lack of investment, lack of economic activities as should have been in the case of Bangladesh, these are product of structural reasons. These requires structural reforms. But given the mandate of the interim government and given the government has to go for a democratic transition, the current administration is tasked with basically to recover from the damaged economy. So, in other words, stabilizing the economy so that the future government would not face a situation where it would be very difficult even to have a stabilization. So, that is the task.
For more update, follow us on Facebook, subscribe our YouTube channel, get the latest update on www.daily-sun.com.